I've been exploring Slappy Shores a bit, and the murals and graffiti here are amazing. Like, here's one. Not only is the art great, but it's really getting me thinking. This looks like an old design of Slurp Juice. Could this mean Slappy Shores is actually from the— I've learned that recording in the street is not very safe. But anyways, it's very interesting to see the design choices here. This stands out from all the other art because most of it is just basic sprays. I think we were supposed to notice this one because it implies some interesting things. First of all, the green terrain could be from the past, just not as far back in the past as the other biomes. Second, it'd be a past related to the island because Slurp is from our island. At least, sort of. In the visitor tapes, this is said.
I speculate that no one calculated the formation of the island, that interdimensional matter collisions would resolve rather than push. Now that I witnessed it firsthand, it's obvious that pinching alone made it inevitable.
That describes the same phenomenon as zero fusion, implying the Chapter 1 map was made from many different realities, just like our current map. Looking back on it, all of the maps were. So that means the fracture event is the closest we'll ever get to explaining what happened before Chapter 2, and even Fortnite as a whole. An interesting detail I noticed during the fracture event, and one of the only remotely interesting things in it, was the flashbacks. You could interact with Misty props from old events to have a flashback to them. This not only told us how much the loopers remember, but also what the 0 point remembers. When you finish the flashback, you would gain a 0 fragment. Those flashbacks are an important piece of the 0 point. I'd argue they're some of the most important pieces. To explain why, we'll have to look a lot further back to the first event. When the rocket left a sideways rift in the sky, things went crazy. There was no order for the 0 point, so it just pulled things from seemingly random disastrous realities. Now look at Season X. The scientists controlled rifts to create rift zones that brought alternate dimensions of existing places to the map. Why would he do this though? For the 0 point to be ready for what was next. The 7 would make the 0 point dormant and then wake it up again by collecting its fragments. This also reopened the rifts so that the 0 point could use them to bring the realities the scientists picked out to protect itself. That seems familiar, right? That's because I think that's what the Paradigm did. She set up rifts that led to realities that would help the 0 point. She couldn't exactly protect all of these though. Of course it would need some form of the imagined order and some form of the 7 to balance it out. Then an economy, which is where we come in. We could collect the fragments that the 0 point had in the past. The 0 point would bring familiar alternate realities where we have a perfected kingdom, a mineshaft, a farm, a sanctuary, a residential and retail area, and also a town where Slurp is having a duel with Slap Juice. Which brings me back to this art. And no, I won't stand in the street again. This shows the fascinating nature of the 0 point. It's from a reality that isn't quite ours, but it will be. It is now. Something that got overlooked when Chapter 4 released was Mark Rain's word for the season, which was cycle. And no, it's not for the bikes, the dirt bikes, not dirt bicycles. There's a difference. It's about the island cycle. It will always have a balance and an order. For now, we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'd like to add one more thing. I think I now know an actual connection between the Zero Bloom from Zero Crisis and the Zero Bloom from Chapter 3 Season 3. They were both related to cycling realities. Both times, they failed to control it though. In Zero Crisis, we were on the verge of catastrophe. Based on this dialogue from the Foundation,
but I might be able to contain the blast.
The 0 point would send out a blast and the island would fracture. There was no plan to save us following that, so the Foundation had to make a sacrifice. In Season 3, the cycling was a lot tamer. Basum broke the Zero Bloom as it called for help with many relics from those different realities. Then with no Spire Cult to prevent the next phase, the Chrome could take control. I mean, clearly they're related. The reality biome literally turned orange. Anyways, the 0 Bloom is basically the 0 point's attempt at order even though it's free, because the 0 point needs the imagined order to control its cycle. And that's about it. Anyways, have a pie, and goodbye.